To elementary. Today, I want to talk about how to unlock equity in your home without getting screwed. I mean, this is a good topic because a lot of my clients are sitting on the fence, trying to figure out where to go next, what to do next. And this, by far, is the perfect topic that I think will bring it home for you. Now, you've got equity in your home, but you're feeling stuck. You know, your house is worth a fortune, but your bank account is saying, try again, right? So that may sound familiar to most of you. You've got all this money tied up. And so what do? Do you go to the bank and ask for a reverse mortgage? Do you sign up for a HELOC? Or do you do like incremental moves? I mean, there are a couple of different things you can do. Well, the way I look at it, while reverse mortgages and HELOCs are a product that people can tap into, there are also risks that come with it, right? I'll give you an example. There was a person that had got one of these products. The bank appraised their home at a very high amount, and because you're only allowed to take out so many percent of the value. But let's be truthful, like even if you were to sell your home in today's market, you probably wouldn't have got that amount. But here you are, you've taken out some money and you have to pay it back with interest when you sell it. So you have to be very mindful about what you decide to do, and most importantly, what that's going to cost you. Because there is a cost to everything you do. While there's a cost to sell, while there is a cost to move, there's also a cost to all of these products and a cost to remaining in the same home. Now, some people will say, well, the home is paid for, what's the cost? There is a cost. Like if you are heating a super large home, you're only using a portion of it, you still have to heat the whole home. Maybe the home's getting a bit older and they have windows that will need repair. Perhaps the driveway will need a fixer-upper, perhaps the roof. And all of these things are going to cost you money. So these are really, really important things for you to keep in mind for when you decide, hey, what should I do? And should I move or should I stay? But really, today, what I'm saying to you is, if you decide you want to do one of these, you want to take advantage, great. Just know the cost associated with it. Your bank breakdown, what that would cost you at the end of the term when you had to pay it back. If you're looking to sell, perhaps even if you are looking to sell, what's the best scenario for you? What I find most times, people get stuck because they don't really ask all of those important questions. They don't understand what's really important and what's going on in the background for them. And I would say, a lot of seniors have built up a nest egg, and the plan was to use it for retirement, right? And so if you're going to downsize, you need to be you need to ask some really, really important questions of what's important to you. Really, what sort of lifestyle am I looking for? And downsize doesn't mean a smaller house. It just means a different style of home. Perhaps something that you can maintain, something that is in better condition, something that is perhaps better suited to your lifestyle as your current spot. So in saying that, a lot of people are getting a little stuck on, the thing I'm hearing the most is, oh my God, no one's selling, no one's buying, everyone is just hanging in there and no one's moving. And what does that mean for you, right? Because people are saying, hey, I don't want to buy something if I can't sell my place, or I don't want to sell my place until I buy. But this is really a good time because there are ways to manage that standoff, so to speak. Buy, sell, buy. Nobody wants to get stuck with two mortgages. Nobody wants to get stuck with two properties, especially if you have to get a certain amount out of the sale, right? So yeah, you have a lot of questions with regard to that, right? You can get a snapshot of your real equity, like what you owe, not as estimate, like really what the house is worth, what it's going to sell in today's market. And let's get into some numbers about some maybe some ideas as to how you look at today's market and how you come up with some numbers and pricing strategy. So a lot of we say to people, what does my next step look like? What does my next chapter look like? And what do I owe? And if you're not planning to move just yet, then you can start to declutter, and so that when time comes to move, you're ready to roll, right? The market today doesn't wait for anyone. The market is the market. The market is going to have its highs. It's going to have its lows. It's going to do what it does best. You sell a bit lower. You're going to buy a bit lower too. And it's all relative really at the tail end of it. So I still think it's based on what you're hoping to achieve. It may be the right time for you to take that plunge, but most people are so fearful that they're not even figuring it out if it's the right time. And they just see homes on the market. There's one thing I've been saying is that there are a few things to take into consideration, right? When you're putting your home on the market. At least let me tell you what I look at. These are some of the things I look at, right? The type of home, what are the market conditions, and by that we mean like, where is it located? Location is location. Like, you can't change that. You can change the house, you can change the design, the inside of it. I mean, you can't change the structural unless you do a tear down, but and list all of the homes that have sold in that neighborhood, right? In that neighborhood. And I'm not saying the homes that have sold slightly out of the neighborhood. I'm talking about homes that have sold right in the neighborhood. What sort of neighborhood are you located in? And so once you take that into consideration, then you have to take into consideration, okay, what does my house look like? Is it staged? Is it, and there's different ways of staging, right? I've staged partial stages where I've staged a client's house with their furniture and mixed it with some accessory pieces or a few other pieces. We bring in some pieces and we use some of the client's furniture. In some others, you can also look at staging if it's empty, finding different ways to stage. It is expensive these days to stage, especially with the properties being on the market a bit longer. But it is important because the buyers of today, and I say it so often, the buyers today are not the buyers of back in, your grandmother's time, right? Everybody, they came out, they took a look at properties, and that's how life is. But right now, buyers are looking online. They look at the pictures, and if they don't see anything they like, they're not going to waste their time coming out to see a home. And if you're wondering why you're hearing crickets, it's because your home is not appealing. It's not appealing, so they're not going to waste their time and energy to come out and see it. And then you get the reverse end of it, where you have some buyers who are looking for a home that looks terrible, so they can offer you bare bones, the lowest pricing, because no one else is coming out to see it, right? And then it comes down to other things, curb appeal. And curb appeal can be looked at different ways. Some people have really great landscaping, and really great landscaping is expensive. It looks beautiful, it's expensive. But curb appeal, when I say curb appeal, what I'm looking at, I'm not saying that you have to drop a fortune on landscaping, but is the house cared for? Does it look like, when you pull up to the house, does it look like the home has been cared for? Or does it look like it's a bit rough and uncared for and makes people wonder what else is a problem with this home? And then, other things like marketing. People think that you can just put a for sale sign on the yard, on the yard, and away they go. And a lot of times when you're chewing someone down and saying, well, give me a discounted price, guess what? You don't get marketing. And I'm not talking about just marketing. It's really kind of getting the right people's eyes on your property, right? It's not just anybody who's looking because they like looking at pretty houses. It's really getting the right buyers to look at your home. So, and then the most important part comes in, which today it's even harder than, years gone by. And that is to do with the pricing strategy. You have to have a pricing strategy. Now, I know some people are saying, well, we'll put a low price and we'll bring in offers and we'll have an offer date and then hopefully we can do, but you have to be really on point with that, right? Having a price that is a little flexible, I get it, but if you think you're going to just drop the price, I'll give you an example. I took a look at a house, really a gut. It wasn't really not a very good condition, but I'm taking a look at the numbers. It looks like the previous people had paid quite a bit for it, but they had originally had it for $1 million. Now, perhaps they wanted to get rid of it. I don't know. But then they dropped the price to $499 and they were taking offers. And the home is still on the market, So obviously they want to get as close to the $1 million as possible. And I mean, you can want what you want, but what are other places selling for? People who come in to a home that needs that kind of work are going to be one of two people. They're going to come in and they're going to say, I want this for a steal of a deal because I have to do all this work. And right now, construction costs are really through the roof. Equipment, like materials, have gone up so much in price. So you are having to take a look at how much this would truly cost you if you were to do the renovation, right? So pricing strategy is important. Making sure that you're not priced way under with an offer date. It turns people off. It's not the market for it. It might have been the market for it when, everyone was having FOMO and everyone was just paying anything for any home. But right now, being a buyer's market, that really turns people off. People are not falling for that. I've seen a number of homes, offer date has come and gone, and no offers, crickets. And I'll give you an example. I had another home that was listed for $999 for the longest time. No one was looking at it. Then they swapped out the agents. But you see, sometimes I don't think it's the agent's fault. Sometimes I think it's also the owner's fault because they want this home. So the new agent puts in a price of $699 and says we're going to have an offer date. So people are looking at two things. Well, it was previously listed for $999. Now it's $699. There's a gap, right? So what are these people looking for? And I'm not quite sure what the homeowner was looking for, but they got no offers. And so finally, when the home finally sold, they sold for not even $50,000 above asking. It was under $50,000 above asking because it was priced so low. Now, I was a little shocked really because the home needed some updating. It was kind of very choppy, but I was kind of shocked because I thought they were going to get a lot more. Now, I don't know what the story was, but that's the story. So those are important things, right? If you're looking to sell, and you have to really be on point with your pricing, not the price. Like, obviously, bear in mind, somebody who wants your listing will probably go with whatever you want to do and then chew you down and try to break you down to get a lower price. I don't believe in that. Now, I'm a little more straightforward, but I don't believe in that. I believe that you should be upfront on your pricing and decide whether you're going to take that person's listing or not. There's only so many times you can be burnt with an overpriced home. If you price a home, I've done it a couple of times because sometimes clients, they're your friends, whatever, they're insisting they want this price, and you're doing your best to get it. But sometimes you can end up putting on a lot of money and the product doesn't move because it is priced high. It's priced high. So nobody is even bothering to look at it. And so the pricing is so, so important, especially in a buyer's market. So right now, they talk about days on the market, right? Like how many days properties are selling, so many days on the market. But technically, someone will come in and tell you, well, properties are selling around 30 days on the market, 26 days on the market. But really, is that the correct amount of days? Because those properties could have been listed and terminated. It's only when they're sold, they capture that. And so a lot of times the numbers are skewed because when you do the average days on the market, it could be a lot higher than what you're seeing, because I'm seeing places that are listed for like 60 days, taken off, 30 days, taken off, and then finally sold. And so in saying that, it doesn't take into consideration all those other ones that when it didn't get sold, it only takes into consideration, when it got sold, right? So those are important to be aware of. And the reason why I say it is because from a client's perspective, if it's taking 70 days to sell a home in that neighborhood, I think you should be prepared that your home might be sitting on the market a bit longer. But I think what happens is people think, 20 days, my home is going to sell even faster. But it really depends on all of these factors that I talked about that make a difference. All of these factors that go into bringing someone to your doorstep to actually look at your home. If they don't come into your home, they're not even looking at it. So then you as a home buyer are stuck with maybe the one or two that came out to take a look at it, or not even. So those are important things for you to consider. I thought I would share it with you. These are all of the things that I take into consideration and more. These are some of the things I take into consideration in order to price, right? Because people say, well, the house down the street sold, and the house down the street could be so different, so different than yours. So it's important to look at everything in detail, everything, especially in a market like today. So seeing that you have no questions today, I will say thank you for sharing your dinner hour with me. And if you have a topic that you'd like me to unpack for you, feel free to drop me a DM or send me a message, let me know, and I'd be happy to do that. And for all of you who don't know me, my name is Jacqueline Watson. I'm a realtor with Sutton Group Tower in Toronto. So thank you again for joining, and we'll see you soon. Bye.